Good morning. Welcome. I am so glad you're here with me today. My name is Carrie Gilletto, and I am one of Heartfelt Creations online instructors. So I wanted to take a quick minute and just say, Linda and the Heartfelt family, we are just so grateful for your creativity and your hard work, bringing this crafting community high quality crafting products as well as outstanding customer service for 25 years. That is really something to celebrate, and we are so excited and just congratulations and happy birthday. We look forward to what you're going to bring us in the next 25. So, all right, crafters, did you get your free die yesterday? Wasn't that exciting? I hope you all were able to take advantage of that. Well, continuing on with the birthday fun, today we are going to make this fun pop-up card. So it lays flat to mail and then pops up to sit on a counter to sit and celebrate any occasion. So this is a birthday card, and we're going to change our camera view, and I'm going to teach you how to make it. All right, so there we go. Like I said, it does lay flat and then it pops up and stands, and I'm going to teach you how to do all that mechanism. It's really easier than you may be thinking. So to begin, I'll set this one over here. To begin, you're going to take a 12 by 12 sheet of paper and cut it down the middle so that you have two pieces that are 6 by 12. And mine is just, a sturdy weight. I think it's probably 80 would be my guess. But whether you use 80 or 110 paper, either one will be okay. So once you get your two pieces, the next thing you're going to need is a scoreboard. Now, lots of great scoreboards on the market. My favorite is the We Are Memory Keepers, because I don't know if you can see this, but all the little marks in between are written out for you. When I have to choose things like 5/8 and 7/8, I like it to just already be there for me so that I don't have to do all that counting. I think I said before I'm not so great with a ruler, so it helps me to have that all written out for me. So you will need your scoreboard. And we're going to create really two things out of your two halves. One is going to be our card base, but I'm also going to help you to make a template that you can keep in your files or in your craft room. So anytime you want to make a box card, you will have this template to help you so that you don't have to go back and search for the video every single time you want to make it. So go ahead and lay your 6 by 12 paper in your scoreboard. And if you want to get a marker, you can go ahead and mark these measurements out on one of your halves. So the first you're going to score at 2 7/8. So 2 7/8 you're going to go ahead and score. Then at 5 3/4 you're going to score. At 8 5/8 you're going to score. And then at 11 1/2 you're going to score. So I'm going to say the measurements again in case you're writing them down and you want to save these. It's 2 7/8, 5 3/4, 8 5/8, and 11 1/2. So those are your first scores. And if you want to draw your black lines just so in the template you'll know that those solid lines are score lines, that's fine. If not, you can just write the measurements. Okay, now we're going to turn over. You're going to turn your paper over, and on the back side, you're going to score at 3 1/2. Now, the end that is at the top is the end that was down at this end. So your 11 1/2 score mark is right here. So when you turned it over, I just flipped it like this, and then I turned it like this. Okay, and this is where I scored at 3 1/2. All right. Okay, so now that we have that done, you have all your scoring done. So I'm going to go ahead and take our other piece, and I'm going to leave this one right here so that you can see. But I'm going to go ahead and do it on this one. So we've got 2 7/8. Whoops. We've got 5 3/4, 8 5/8, and 11 1/2. There we go. Now I'm going to flip it over and then turn it like this, and we're going to go at 3 1/2. Okay, so now that we have that scoring done, we're ready to do the next step. So you may notice on my template here that I have dotted lines just on the top portion, which is the shorter section. So there's a short section up here and the larger section is down here. So just from here to here, I'm going to take my scissors and snip straight down there. Okay? So I'm going to flip it like this just so my scissors have an easier angle to cut. And I'm just going to cut down to that 3 1/2. Okay, do you see what I did there? I cut out on both sides of my score mark so that I actually cut out the score mark. That's going to make it so my flaps open easier and close easier. So I'm cutting on either side of my score mark. And then I just take my scissors and I'm showing you, see that? And just cut that off. And if you're not a perfectly straight cutter, don't give yourself grief. If it's a little wonky, it'll be okay. And if you're, and you know, you have to trim it a second time to get that gap, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now on this end one, you're going to do something a little different. You're going to cut down, but then we're going to cut that whole edge off. So right on the score line, just cut it off. So did you catch that? And I'm going to go ahead and put it like this because this is how we scored it. So we've cut our score lines out, and then on this end, we just cut this little piece off completely. So you can see on my template, I have made the dotted lines, and then on this one, I extended that dotted line this way so that I can see where you chop that off. Then right here on this little section right here is the only place that we apply glue once we're ready to put it together. So once you have that done, your template is ready to save, and you will always be able to make this box card because you'll have the measurements and the directions right here. So we can set that aside, and from now on we're going to be working with this piece right here that is our base card for today. So this is the bottom part of our card. These parts are going to fold down and be our flaps. Now, because I'm going to add this big clock on the front, I didn't need this flap. So we're going to go ahead and just cut that one off. The one down here by our glue flap. I'm just going to cut that off of there because we're not going to need that one. There we go. Okay, now normally if you weren't putting something on the front, you don't have to cut that flap off. I just know that that's our design, so I went ahead and took that one off. Okay, so now that you fold these down, we're going to go ahead and score them. And then we can raise them back up. All right, now for our other part, we're going to flip it over. So your flaps are scored this direction, but your other parts need to be scored this direction. You see that? Hopefully that's not too confusing. I'm trying to do it in a way that is easy to understand, but you can kind of see that box coming together, right? So we had it this way, and we folded our flaps down. Now we're going to turn it over, and I just turned it this way so you can see. Now we're going to fold these parts in this way. And it's just to score all those lines, all those score marks with your bone folder. You're just going to reinforce them and get those the way we need. Now, so when this comes together, we're not ready to do this step yet, but you can kind of see our box coming together here. All right, but we're not quite ready to glue that yet. So go ahead, we're gonna set this piece aside. We're done with that for the moment, so go ahead and set it aside. The next template that we're gonna make, and you'll need another sheet of like 8.5 by 11 paper, or if you have another 12 by 12, and you're gonna cut this one, whoops, you're gonna cut this to 3 7/8 long. So the whole distance is 3 7/8. And then it is 1 inch in width. So 3 7/8 by 1. And you're going to score it at the half mark on both ends. So you'll score it on this end, then turn it around and score it on this end. All right, so I'm going to hold this up so that you can see it. I promise you, once we get done with this section, there won't be any more measuring in specific directions, okay? So you can kind of see that. It's 3 7/8 long, 1 inch in width, and then you score it at the half mark on each end. And again, this one is my template. I save that with my other ones so that I always have this, and my directions are saved there for me. So you're going to need that piece 3 times, and it looks like this one I have not scored yet, so we'll go ahead and do that real quick. You'll need 3 of these pieces. All right, and these are the pieces that make our parts on the inside so that we can attach our stars. So you see how that looks? That's how we're going to get those, and I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. So for our pieces like this, I want you to fold the little half marks inward, okay, like this. Both of them go in. All right, and you're going to do that twice. I know I'm taking a little bit of time on this, where I'll speed it up a little bit on our next half, but I want to make sure you kind of understand how this works. Okay, so now you have your 3 like this. Go ahead and get your dry clear glue. And on this right here, you're going to hold it like this so it makes a C. See that? Like, so your flaps are like this. It looks like the letter C. And on one end, sorry, didn't take my glue tip out. On one end, you're going to add glue. My glue is jammed. Not the time to do that, is it? There we go. So add your glue on just one end. Now you see this section right here that's open? The next one over, this section right here. So if you have it laying like this, where your flaps are going that way, we're going to add this just right in there. You see that? You see where I put it? So there's your fold mark, and I just glued that in right about there. Now the second one, I'm just going to evenly space these right in here. So I glue there. It's still a C, just like the other one. And I'm going to glue that one just a little bit down. Okay. And then the last one, the same thing. All right. And I just kind of space those apart. I'm going to hold that up so you can see it. Kind of see that? See how I put them in there? They're not quite all the way up to the flap. I put them just a little bit down. If you want to put them all the way up, you can. I just didn't, so I usually put mine a little bit down. Okay, now that you have it this way, we're going to lay them all out. So press them down just like this. You see that? You see how that's laid? Just laid them out flat. Now just on the little 1/2 inch score mark, I'm going to put some glue. And now we're going to bring our box together right there. And just like that. Whoops, you know what? There we go. Just like that. Now on this one, we're going to add some glue right here. And you're going to go ahead and close it up. Whoops, there we go, close it up. And when you're all done, you can mount it, press it, there we go. There we go. Now this is what you should have on the inside of your box when it's all glued together, okay? All right. So now that we have that, we're going to move on. You can set your little box aside. We are ready to move on to the next step. So for this box, I found several papers that I wanted to use because I knew the color palette that I wanted to use. So from the Holiday Star collection, I'm using one corner of this pretty one right here, and I'm using this light purple. From the Sweet Pea paper collection, I'm using these two right here, the pink and the dark purple. And then from this Floral Butterfly collection, I'm using this pretty plaid right down here. And then I got my butterfly collections mixed up. I didn't realize that the Butterfly Dreams is no longer available, but if you can find a hot pink, it can be from any other collection, or you can just use the same pink that we use from the butterfly, but mine is this one right here. I got my butterflies mixed up, so my star is cut out of that. Okay, so now that we know the papers, you're going to take the purple paper from the Sweet Pea collection and the plaid paper from the butterfly collection, and you're going to cut 4 pieces, 3 out of the plaid and 1 out of the solid purple, and they're going to be 2.5 by 3 1/4. And we are going to glue the purple one on our front, and then the 3 plaid ones will go around the other side. So you can go ahead and do that real quickly. Now you may have noticed I did ink around the edges with mine, and I inked around them with the Majestic Violet. Okay, so we're going to quickly just glue those on to our panels. Oops, I got one crooked. There we go. So are you surprised at how easy this box comes together? It's once you get the measurements, it's very easy to make. There we go. Okay. So the next, whoops, I dropped one of mine, so I'm not gonna put one on the back, but you go ahead and put that other one right there on the back. So the next thing you're gonna do is the panels for the flaps. Out of the dark purple paper, you're gonna cut 3. And these measure to 2.5 by 2 1/4. And you fold your flaps down and they go right here on the outside flaps. All right. So give me some hearts in the comment if you're liking how easy this box comes together and you think that you'll be able to use this idea to make some cards. There you go. All right, so there's our box all ready to go, and it folds flat and then it pops open. So the next thing we're going to work on are our stars that are going to come up out of the inside. So I'm sure you can guess where I got the cards from. Or from the stars from. I'll set that aside real quick. So the stars came from the large holiday star, and I used this one right here. And you're going to cut this one out twice. Once from the hot pink and once from white. And that's going to give you, whoops, this right here. So you'll have a white one and a hot pink one. The next thing you're going to do, out of the stamp set of the large holiday star, you're going to take this one right here and you're going to stamp it out twice. Whoops, once in the cactus flower on the pale pink paper that's from the Sweet Pea collection, you're going to stamp that out one time, like this. And when you die cut it, this one right here is the one we're going to use. Then you're going to stamp it out of deep purple on the purple paper that came from the Sweet Pea collection. And again, this one right here is the one we're going to use. Now you're going to go ahead and die cut this same die one more time out of the Luxe Silver. And we're going to use the tiny stars as well as the large star, so you'll want to save all of those. Now I have my little pile of those right here. Now you're going to want to do it one more time out of the white, but on the white we're just going to use the 3 tiny stars. Okay, we're not going to use this one, you're just using the 3 tiny. Okay, whoops, got the wrong one. All right, so that's done with that one. So we're done with our holiday star. And the next one you're going to use to make the stars is the holiday star die set only. And we're going to use these 2 right here. All right. The larger one you're going to cut out of the paper that had the design on it from the holiday star collection. And that's going to give you this larger one right here. And I did ink around the edges with the deep purple. And you're also going to take this one right here, the smaller of the 2 stars, and you're going to cut it out of the Luxe Gold. And somehow I don't see that one, but okay. Going to go ahead and do that. And then one more time, you're going to take this star right here, and you're going to cut it out of the pink paper that came from the Sweet Pea collection. So you cut it once out of silver and once out of the pink from the Sweet Pea, and that'll give you this right here. So there you go. That will give us our big old pile of stars that we're going to use to fill this box with exploding stars for our birthday. So the next thing you'll want to do, and you notice on this one right here, is I glittered the edges. And the way I did that is I put some glitter on my sponge and I just went around the edges. I just flicked, kind of like we do with the ink, but I did it with glue instead of ink. I flicked around the edges of my star, and then I, whoops, put it in my snappy tray and added some glitter. There we go. And that's how I glittered around the edges of some of my stars. I didn't do it to all of them, just some of them. Now for this one right here, I put glue on my sponge, and I just sponged these pretty pieces that come off the side. Okay, so I sponged some glue on there, and then glittered them. And I already did most of them. I just saved a couple to do for you. So I went ahead and glittered those. And then on the pink one, I went ahead and trimmed off all of those curlicues. I don't know the official name of those. I call them curlicues. So we trimmed that all off. All right, so once you get that done, we can go ahead and glue our pink star. And in a moment, I'll tell you how to make the letters that say it's time. We're going to go ahead, and there you go. So yours won't have its time on it yet. It'll just be pink, but here's the stars that you're going to have. And then you have these little white ones and your big ones. Okay, to do the It's Time and the 25, I used the letters and numbers set, and I die cut the letters and numbers, and then I glued them on there to say It's Time. And I just used a piece of dark purple cardstock to do that. Okay, so now that we have all of our stars ready, we can kind of slide those aside. And the next thing we're going to do real quick is we are going to take our Simple Moments timepiece, and we're going to stamp and die and get our clock ready to go. So we're going to stamp the clock itself, the whole thing, once in the majestic purple, and you'll do the whole thing. Then we're going to stamp it a second time, and I did this on flower shaping paper. We just need this circle, so I didn't really care if the rest of it came out. I just did this circle right here, and we did that in the deep purple. And then I used some gray ink to just stamp the little ringers at the top. And then the last thing I did is I used some jet black to stamp just the face and the little clock hands. And on this one, I did heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder on top. So once I got this done, I went ahead and cut out all my pieces. And we're going to layer those up. Now you might be able to see this one right here. I took my glue and I traced all these pretty little swirls in this piece right here, and I added some crystal glitter. Okay. So I did add some foam to the back of this piece. I took my dauber and I went around each piece I went around this piece with the dark purple. I'm going to go ahead and layer this on. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Now this piece right here, the color that's on the face of it there is the cactus flower. And I went around the edges with the deep purple, and I did just the feet of the clock here with the deep purple as well. I forgot to say that. Now for this piece, I cut it off. I inked it in the same gray color that I stamped it. And now we're just going to glue it on top. There we go. And then for the face, I went around the face with the deep purple, the same as I did all the other pieces. I dabbed my clock hands with the gray color that I did the ringers, and then I added foam on the back. Oops, missed one. There we go. And now we're just going to put that right there on our clock face. There you go. So our clock very quickly came together. Now I also took my glue, and just on the edges there, I added a little bit of glitter. There we go. So you can kind of see just there where those lines are, we added some glitter. All right, so when I was making my pop-up card, I originally tried to hold these up with just regular acetate. Well, the stars were too heavy and they just flopped down. They didn't stay up. So to make these pieces, I had to find some sturdier plastic. So what I found was one of the cases for the stamp sets. Now I put mine in the storage binder, so I have several of these that I have just saved, thinking I'll probably have a purpose someday. And that is what I cut my strips of plastic with. I used the sturdy plastic that is the outside. It's one of these right here that your stamps come in. So if you don't have any that you're willing to cut up, you can probably find some packaging elsewhere in your house, but that is what I used. Now, in order to get your stars to stay on the acetate, you have to use score tape. Okay, just glue will not dry well enough to hold your stars up on this plastic. So I'm going to put a small piece of score tape on each one of my pieces. Now I'm going to cut these to different lengths. I'm going to have some short, some tall. I'm just going to add my score tape. And then I'm going to start adding my stars. Okay. All right. So I'm looking to see if we have any questions. How are y'all feeling about this? Is it coming together in a way that you can understand, or do you have any questions so far? So hopefully I'm explaining it in a way that you feel like you can reproduce later. So the first one that I'm going to do is this big one right here. And I'm just going to I'm going to do this one right here. Take off my score tape. and add this right here. So there we've got our little wand with our star on top, and that's going to be sturdy enough to hold that star upright. So I purposely did not put my clock on the face yet because it makes it a little bit easier to work in here if you wait. So I'm going to put this one at an angle right back here in the back. So I'm going to add some score tape down here. And then I'm going to put it right, I'm going to hold it like this so you can see, but I'm going to put right back down in there, and I'm going to kind of have an angling out of the back. And I'm going to build it from the back forward. Okay, let me show you. So I'm going to start with the back, and then I'm going to put my stars coming forward. That way I can control what you can see. So the next one is going to be, oops, this one right here and this one right here. And I'm just going to glue these together like this. I'm going to cut this off just a little bit. Hope you can see that. So I glued these two together, and now I'm going to attach them to my acetate, turn it over, and then I'm going to add my score tape to the back side, and now I'm going to put it on this. So the first one I put on the very back of the card. The next one I'm going to move up one, and I'm going to put it on this other side, kind of at an angle. So there we go. Now the next one is going to be this little 25, and I'm going to add a couple little stars to it. So I'm just going to glue on a couple stars here to kind of give that some fun. I'm going to put one of the white ones and one of the silver ones on there. And now the same thing, I'm going to use my next shorter one here that I've cut, and we're going to add that. Okay. So really you can just arrange your stars in there in whatever way looks good to you. Go. Now you do have to be careful that you don't get your score tape to where it is longer than your 1-inch board. Otherwise it's going to stick when you close it. So do watch out for that. And I'm just going to put this one in so that it can be seen. And now we have these two right here. And we're going to add those together. Whoops, did it the wrong way. There we go. And I'm also going to add a little white one up here. There we go. And all of these are just on our cut piece of acetate that we made. And I'm going to move this one up. And turn it over and put it on the back side. There we go. And this one I'm going to move up again. You see how that's coming together? How I'm kind of layering those as I put them in, and I'm putting them in on the different layers we made in there. Now for the happy birthday, I used one of the circles and one of the little eyelet circles from the decorative circles, and I made myself a little happy birthday. So we're going to go ahead and add that on. And let's see, I do have my stamp set. So the happy birthday came from the special birthday sentiments, and I just stamped that. I believe I stamped this one in the deep purple, but really any of the purples will be fine. So it looks like I need one more strip. I'm short a strip. I might have dropped it. So while I'm looking for that, I'm going to go ahead and do this last one. I may have to cut another one real quick. Go. So we'll put this little pink star right here on that, and I'm going to add one of our little silver stars out here on the edge. turn it over. Add my score tape right there. And this one's going to be the lowest down. It's going to be furthest back, and there we go. So this is what I have so far, and then I'm going to add this birthday one right about here, but I'm going to have to cut myself another strip because it looks like that I can't find mine. So to cut that, I just cut it about a little less than a 1/2 inch wide. I wasn't real particular about that. I just kept it straight, and you really just have to eyeball and see where you, the height that you want, depending on where you've kind of put your pieces. And then we turn it over. There we go. I've got little papers everywhere. And this one is going to go right there. Okay, so the last thing we need for our card before we add our clock is, out of the arrows and banners, you're going to make a celebrate banner, and we're going to stamp in deep purple, let's celebrate. And I believe I showed you how to do this in another video, but we'll go over that again. I'm going to take my stylus and just roll up those 2 little points. I'm going to take my thumb and forefinger and add some curl right there where, oops, right there where the word celebrate is. So I have it like this. Now on the other end, I'm going to take my stylus, and on this pink area, I'm going to pull up the points, and I'm going to roll it all the way to where the let's celebrate begins. And that is going to give us a little celebratory banner there. You see that? Just kind of curling and furling. Now I'm going to add some glue to the points where it curls. And we're going to add it at an angle right under where it says it's time. See that? There we go. Hopefully I can get that to stay down. Okay. There we go. Oops, you know what? I did forget to add a couple stars that go on our happy birthday piece. So I'm going to pop those in real quick. We got a white glittery, and we've got, oh, thank you so much, Stephanie. I hope you give this project a try. I know I'm going through the stars kind of fast, but I thought it was more important that you learn how to build the box than I know that you crafters can figure out some of the other parts yourself. So then the last thing we're going to add here is our clock onto the front. And I didn't put it exactly center. I offset it just a little bit, but there we go. Okay, so there we go. We did it. More importantly, you have your template so that you can do this again. And I thought it would be great fun to put flowers on the new Easy Wire stems and make a box card out of those. Wouldn't that be neat? So I'm going to give this a go in several different ways. So we're going to switch back real quick. And whoops. All right, there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed making this box card. There's a lot to it, but I wanted you to kind of have your template so that you could do this again, and I hope some of you will give it a try. Now, I wanted to encourage you all to set your calendars for August 26th. That's a Friday, but we're going to be having crafty fun all day long, and I know you're not going to want to miss it. So please set your calendars so that you won't miss a single second of all the great things coming in this birthday month celebration. So thanks again for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing what you do with this box card. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.